Hello everyone, and welcome back to Audio Talk. Today our conversation is going to center around the Audio DG R28 Mark II. It's a high quality preamp, ladder DAC, and headphone amp in one unit. Today's review will consist of three components. We'll talk about the chassis, the controls, and the connectors, and we'll talk about how it sounds, and we'll have a recap at the end. I'll add in some sound clips for fun. Let's get started. First of all, when you take this unit out of the box, the first thing you're struck by is the weight. It's a real substantial feel. It feels like quality, and when you take it out of the box and you look at the fit and finish, it's got a beautiful black aluminum casing that's just tightly integrated, tightly put together, very nicely. I love the dark black with the bright blue display. It's a really nice contrast, and it looks great at night when you have the lights off and maybe a candle on. And I love the silver volume control and the buttons. It has a relay controlled resistor. It's got a wonderful feel here. You've got a output button. You've got a gain button. It offers 3 levels of gain, a slow ramp up in sound volume to a quicker one. I personally like the quick ramp up. Works for me. And it has an input switch with 5 inputs. I'm going to pause now to show you a shot at the back of the unit and explain the connectors. Okay, let's look at the connections in the back of the R28 Mark II. Towards the left of the screen, you'll see R out, and in that box you have an XLR, an ACSS at the top right, and an RCA single-ended. Towards the middle of the unit, you have 5 inputs. Number 1 is a HDMI I2S, second one is USB, the third one is optical, the fourth is a coax, and the fifth is analog XLR. Towards the far right, you have your IEC power connection. Let's go through the inputs and see what they're capable of in terms of performance. The USB in the I2S is 44.1 to 384K, 32-bit, and DSD 64 to 512. In coaxial mode, it's 44 to 192. In optical mode, it's 44 to 96. And now for the sound. Before I talk about the sound quality, I want to level set and just kind of set the stage of what I like to listen to and what my system is about, because I think that's important. When you review a product, that component that you're reviewing has got to fit in your system. And depending on how your system sounds and is toned and tuned, that product can be a great product and not get a great review. And, you know, it might be a perfect product in any other system. So just want to level set there a bit. My system has the Spatial Audio X3s. I can't really find any fault with it top to bottom. It's a wonderful sounding speaker, and it's in my system to stay for a while. I have the Audio by Van Alstine DVA 225 monoblocks. It's a brand new monoblock that's out from Frank Van Alstine, and it's welcomed by rave reviews, and it really sounds great. It's a perfect match for the Spatials. I've been used to listening to passive preamps in the past, and I also had a very transparent DAC from digital amplifier company called the DAC. And everything sounded great in my system, but the only thing that I was curious about is I thought it might lean towards a little bit too resolving. I don't want to say analytical because it wasn't, but maybe just slightly bit too lean because it was so quick. And so I really got excited when I got opportunity to review this Audio DG R28 Mark II, knowing it's a ladder DAC and it should be a warm DAC, much warmer than maybe my Delta Sigma DAC from my DAC. So I was curious, excited to review it, and I wanted to see how it sounded in my system, I'll be honest. So let's focus on the songs that I chose to play. With the background that I had just shared with you, I picked Fleetwood Mac Rumour's album. Dreams is a song. It's obviously a very popular song, and I grew up listening to it. It's well recorded. It was a Qubuz 2496 track. I was interested to see how that sounded. There's a couple parts of that song I was focusing on. In the beginning on my previous system, I heard Stevie Nicks come into the song as the intro and did this little humming melody. I've heard it before, but through my last system, I really felt like it was ultra transparent. And it got me excited because it really felt like I was with them in the recording studio. But when the acoustic guitar came in moments later, I thought I was a little lean. I remembered it on my analog rig, and I had a good analog rig a few years ago, that the body was just harmonic structure was greater, was there, was just mid-range came out, and really spoke to me. And when I heard it through my transparent system, it was just a little too lean. So I thought maybe it was the transfer. I wasn't sure about the file. It wasn't an album. So I was really curious to see what this ladder DAC did. And when I put it on, the humming was there. It wasn't quite as transparent, but it was there. It sounded fine. And then when the acoustic guitar came in, it sounded more full body. Really noticed the difference right away. And I thought, okay, the body still is in that file. And I said, hey, first song in, this was sounding really good. When Mick Fleetwood's kick drum and John McVeigh's bass came in, it's a great rhythm section. The tone of the bass was spot on. The impact of the drum and the bass was very apparent. It was deep and it was tuneful. I was super impressed. So I felt the first track in, hey, this sounds great. So the second track I selected was Muddy Waters Folk Singer. This is an album that's known to be a high quality recording. It's from 1963. It's a minimalist recording. Nothing fancy, no processing, just wonderful, wonderful raw recording. And when I bought it when I was like 31, 32 years old, a few years ago, I thought, oh, this is supposed to be, touted as a good recording. I should just buy it for my collection. Wasn't really into Muddy Waters at the time, but I thought maybe one day I'd give it a listen. And ends up being just a few years ago, I pulled it out, sat in my collection for quite a while, and I really thought, man, why didn't I listen to this earlier? It's a wonderful, wonderful album. I love Muddy Waters' baritone, deep voice. It's a great test for your speakers in your mid-range. And Buddy Guy's guitar, acoustic guitar, sounds really natural, just like it was recorded yesterday. Fantastic recording, and I picked the song Big Legged Woman, and that just shows his voice and Buddy's guitar off super well. So I played that through, and I got that, soulful, deep baritone voice that Muddy has, or I should say bluesy voice, but sounded fantastic, and the guitar was great. The whole recording, the whole song was awesome. And when I listened to it through this unit, it sounded wonderful. And I thought, this is really nice. It didn't do anything wrong to it. It filled it out a little bit. And I thought, hey, this is doing pretty well. So that's track 2. The last track, I use a more modern recording. It's from Diana Krall, and there'll be some of you that can appreciate her, and some maybe are a little tired of her or don't like her. But when she's on, she's on. In the album Turn Up the Quiet, there's a song No Moon at All. It's a wonderful track. It really tests her system. She starts off with her piano, and John Clayton takes his bow and uses it on his double bass. Now, I thought it was a cello, and it still might be a cello, but I checked the credits, and there was no cello listed as an instrument on the track. So it could be his double bass. Some bass players do that. And when he's using the bow, the last 4 notes or 5 notes that he hits just goes down really low in the register and really tests out your system. It's a great piece and a great part of the song, and it sounded wonderful. Right after that, he goes up on and starts plucking the strings and playing the stand-up bass. And he tends to use the higher registers on his bass, I've noticed on the recordings that I've listened to. And the articulation of each note was super right on, really sounded good, and I enjoyed that track. And then when Diana's voice came in, wonderful track. If you like her, that's a great song to test out your system with, and I really enjoy it personally. So 3 songs I really wanted to test it out on to see, what this thing could do, different types of music, and it hit a home run for $1,400. It's a really impressive unit, and I thought, this was great. Now $1,400. I have a system speakers around 9,000, amps around 3,500. That's probably light to spend on the DAC and the preamp, right? So I'm going to check out this audio DG and see what's happening on the level above. Because if it gets any better than this, I'll be really happy. At the end of the day, I thought this was a bargain. If your system needs a little bit more warmth and still with some really nice resolution, I think this could be an excellent choice for you. I think everything is system dependent. If you like neutral or slightly bit on the warm side, I think this is fantastic. And it's just what my system needed. I'm looking forward to find out what else they've got there at Audio DG and see if it's a fit for my system. and I'm excited to do that. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in another edition of Audio Talk.
I once was much like you, had a 9 to 5 and a mortgage due. That rat race got to me, first it ate me up, then it set me free.